Hi, this is Weekly Reflections, and I'm back. It's Nancy Joy, and in the States, we're heading into Thanksgiving week. Thanksgiving is this Thursday, so there's a lot to be grateful for in this crazy world of ours, and you can feel it underneath everything else. What I wanted to share with now, I titled this Reflections, The Final Clearing, as we move into December 21st, 2012, the final clearing. And then we start creating our new reality, as we discussed last week about the Earth ascending on 12/12/12 and rebirthing on December 1st, 2012. And so this is what we're in preparation of. And I have noticed it across the board. And I read this wonderfully deep article by the Mountain Astrologer. And I love her stuff because she really goes deep. It's not surface, it's not superficial, it's deep, and she hones in on a truth. And this is the final clearing for all of us. And it is the one thing that has always defeated us, held us back, and kept us from our full potential and beauty as human beings. And whether it was taken from us or we did it to ourselves, I think it's a combination of both. But listen, this is a really powerful reflections for everyone to integrate before we head into this very final phase. So in this article, the Mountain Astrologer says, she calls this pain, the pain we are all, has caused interference in our lives and past lives and forever. And this is the pain of the negative self-cast shadows within us that we made long ago. And we absolutely must vanquish these shadows once and for all before we can move freely. And what is this pain? What are these shadows? The shadows where we do not love ourselves, where we really don't embrace all the beauty and potential and power of ourselves as human beings. And, we've been made. That's been propagandized a long time, and it's been drilled into us that we aren't enough. We aren't good enough. We aren't courageous enough. We aren't smart enough. And it's just enough. No matter how much we get it and love ourselves and understand, we still have that shadow of self-cast negativity. And it's all about the empty space in us. And what do we do with this empty space? What have we done for many, many lifetimes? We've tried to fill it outside ourselves. And some people with things, some people, you just can't have enough things. Well, it's just because you're not enough. That's the reflection. But for many of us, it's our relationships. We so want to be loved. And it's so frightening to us that we might be abandoned and not loved by a parent, by a friend, by a partner. And so we continue to create this because it is the fear that defeats us and keeps us from truly being free. This was very powerful. So the final clearing in preparation for this shift is that shadow of negativity about ourselves. And everything that hurts us and pains us is a reflection of that. Everything from outside ourselves. And no matter how hard you try to fill it out there somewhere with a lover, with a partner, with a friend, with money, with things, even with a passion, with whatever you're moving toward, if you have that shadow in, everyone still does, you are going to meet your obstacle. You're going to meet yourself. So we have a chance here. We have a chance here at a final clearing, and I find it exciting because the root of every issue is the same pain. We all seem to be craving this validation, and it causes us to reject the very thing we most want to embrace, ourselves first, and people we love. They're the most important ones we want to be validated by. And this deep-rooted fear comes from the past, but we've handled it the same way over and over and over again. So the pattern is in our DNA. We have the thought, we have the feeling, and we do something to sabotage our relationship, our job, the thing we want most, the thing we're working toward. We do that over and over again. And if you're really honest with yourself and this hits you and you get it, this is very powerful. And the deep-rooted fear is that we're no longer accepted or loved. So, of course, it does all come back to self-love, but it's really important to know that this is the final clearing. Okay, so how to? I work with a lot of people, and including myself. And it is the root cause of everything. It is the root cause of our dramas, of our pain, of why we have such a great friend and suddenly it blows up. Now you can say, okay, you're vibrating on different fields. They're going their way and you're going yours, and that's fine. But if that were true totally, you wouldn't have that uncomfortable feeling and that pain of loss. You'd have the joy of seeing someone you love move forward as you do also. So when you don't have, that's the negative self-cast shadow that you're feeling when you feel those things. So your head can say this and that from your spiritual journey. This is the way it works, and you're in a different vibration and they're in a different one from you. But if you have that sad feeling of loss and emptiness, it's because that is your self-cast negative shadow. So where do we go? Well, we must create a sacred space of vulnerability. And vulnerability is the one thing our egos do not like. They do not like us to be vulnerable. But if you create a sacred space of vulnerability, Ezekiel has always said the most powerful thing in the world is an open, vulnerable heart with strong personal boundaries, which would be knowing yourself, knowing who you are, and within that framework, it's safe for you to stay open and vulnerable. So if you can get to that space and really think about it and concentrate it on your life right now, that sacred space of vulnerability, into that space, you can bring, first of all, yourself. And you can really embrace, because what you're really looking for to fill that empty space is yourself. It's your beloved. And then from holding that sacred space, you and your beloved, a space that's safe to bring the thing that you're resisting or the opposite thing into, and find a way to come together and create a new reality. This is how we're going to end duality. So it's so important to do the emotional clearing so you can hold that sacred space of vulnerability and hold it open for things you've rejected and pushed away and sabotaged to feel safe enough to come back in and integrate with you again so that you can create. So our journey now as we turn this final corner is to hold that sacred space. So that if you think about it, oftentimes the bitterness and anxiety of past pain, of separation, must clearly be faced now for you to embrace this. And now we know the way. It's the sacred space of vulnerability. And we can do it. You can feel it. When you're feeling that good, when you're really feeling good about yourself, that's your sacred space. And you can be vulnerable in that space. You don't have to be afraid. It's the safest thing in the world. And as we own that as human beings, we recode our DNA and we do become more of all we can be. This is what's kept us from being all we can be. And it's why I find it so exciting. So take a look at it in your own life and tell me if you're really honest with yourself that you can't see that this is the root of your problem, that wounds have triggered the fear that keeps you sabotaging yourself. And it comes from your past wounds. It comes from your wounded heart. So the sadness of separation will become the joy of sacred union. And it's so possible. And it's happening now as we enter the ascension and rebirth of ourselves and our planet and our solar system. More next week on templates and timelines. It's really exciting what's come through that I want to share with you and what's really happening as the light changes in our reality right now. So tune in next week for reflections. Have a great week. If you're in the States, enjoy your Thanksgiving, and we'll see you next week. Bye now.